Well, everybody, I was just inside messing around on the computer, and I ended up going from one video to another video to another video, and guess what? Back on to rocket stoves. You guys remember the epic failure rocket stove I made last year? Well, technically what I did here isn't even close to what a rocket stove is. The difference between what you see here and what a real rocket stove is that a rocket stove has insulated chimney here, and the heat transfer stays within this chimney. And see, how do I put this? You have three different forms of heat that's happening all at the same time. I'm going to call it now, then, and later. When you light a fire and it starts going up, now you have heat rising. Now that heat is rising, it's going into the side of the chimney. Then it starts to spread out into the perlite or vermiculite, one of the two. Now, since the heat can't escape fast enough, and it stays within this area, the thin area of the wall and the insulation, perlite or the vermiculite, later that heat starts coming back out and then mixes with the heat that's happening now and then. Okay? So you've got three different heats happening all at the same time going up through this stack. And that massive amount of heat that's roaring up this is what causes airflow to fly in through the intake here. So it's kind of a big nutshell right there. But yeah, what I'm going to do here, so in essence right here, this is not a rocket stove because it's not insulated. The chimney's not insulated. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these three coffee cans, cut out the middle of that one, and then cut out the end of that one. I'm going to stick those in there. I'm going to somehow figure out a way to get these all to connect together. I don't know if I want to use JB Weld or what, because I can't really rivet them together. So, and then this is going to be going inside. And I don't have any vermiculite or the other stuff, but I've got a bunch of dirt on the ground, so I'm sure that'll help. So let's do it. Okay, well, I got the hole cut out, see? But the problem is,
now I can't stick this down in there. Yeah, it won't go in.
So I can either cleave out some more of this side here, so that way I can try to angle it down in there, or I can completely forget about insulating the elbow, because the hotter this is going to get, the more it's going to pull that up. So maybe I'm just going to do it that way instead. See, this is the kind of crap that you run into when you don't have the right tools, or it's too late to turn on the damn grinder, Yeah. You gotta turn on half-ass everything and stick it together with hot glue and use... Alright. Alright guys, there we go. Took just a bunch of dirt, stuck it in there, took some duct tape and stuck them together. Now we're going to test it out. Man, I watch all these guys be able to whip these things together in a few minutes on YouTube. Heck, this is taking me 45 minutes already. Dang it. still not quite operating on its own accord. That's the downfall about some of these rocket stoves, is that if you don't build an incline, you have to keep feeding it, keep checking it every 5 or 10 minutes. More like every minute, because it burns, and then eventually it'll stop if you don't keep pushing it in. The kind of rocket stoves that have the hopper that goes up, and gravity just pulls the wood down in as it burns. That's awesome. I might build something like that sometime.
The dirt and rock and stuff that I have packed in around it doesn't seem to be a very good thermal insulator, but it's enough to keep the inside going because, listen. You hear it? Kind of hear it. But yet at the same time, the way I have this set up, you can see I've got just that chunk of angle iron in there. Just to elevate the sticks up. And then, I already touched this thing and it is hot. So, it's about 1 inch away from the inside, so that's not thick enough. So, if I'm going to build one of these things and get serious about it, I'm going to get serious about it and not do this kind of stuff. But, it is hot, and I know if I touch it, I'll probably, well, don't burn me, but, it's hot enough to be uncomfortable. And I don't like always having to push these in, so they stay lit. Yeah. But I'm sure if I put a cup of coffee up, or a coffee pot up here, I'm sure it would probably boil pretty quick. Look at that, the cauldron of death. Yeah, good. But, yeah. And remember, I made that L shape out of a bunch of little propane tanks. I just kind of tack welded together. Because when I tried to weld them, solid, it just kept blowing through because those tanks are real thin, strangely enough. But, yeah.
So you can kind of see the spinning of the flame. Air coming up through there underneath those two big chunks. And I can tell you that that's about as big as I can get in there. And I'm thinking this one is about maybe about 3/8 of an inch, or 3/4 of an inch wide, about an inch long. And yeah.
Well, I can tell you in playing with this, I can tell you what I've learned. It's probably better to bring the insulation area all the way down and cover up the tube a little bit, just like everybody else shows on their systems. Well, what a lot of people will do. Like, starting at this point, going straight up and then across, and then down and back. About, maybe, so I can tell you I've got about an inch up here, so I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 inches worth will create good insulation on this thing, or on one. So, that's what I'm finding out. Can't put too big of chunks in there.
So what do you guys think? You think I should build a serious
Rocket stove? Actually do designs for it and everything? I'm thinking about doing that. I think that'd be a pretty cool project. I've got a bunch of little projects that I want to do.
Okay, I'm gonna get on out of here.
Thumbs up the video, share it, do all the other kind of crazy stuff I tell you to do that you don't do anyways. I know putting dirt in it isn't a very good thermal insulator, I know that, but hell, I didn't have any of that perlite or chromolite or, the other stuff. I didn't have any of that, so, okay, talk to you guys later.